know what? This should be like the very first clip that should play in the video. Men are trash, Ankit. And I'm so glad you called me in for this interview. Dun dun dun, Ankit reviews. You know, that's how it should roll.
You know what? I'm actually going to put that as the first clip now. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn is the 8th film in the DC Extended Universe, also known as the DCEU. It's directed by Cathy Yan in her sophomore feature-length film since Dead Pigs in 2018. The movie stars Margot Robbie, who reprises Harley Quinn, and is joined by an ensemble of the likes of Messina, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Ewan McGregor, Rosie Perez, Ella J. Basco, and Journey Smollett-Bell, among others.
Are we ready?
Essentially what it is it's about a lost diamond that sets the wheels of madness in motion across Gotham, and it's narrated by Quinn, who is on a journey to take back her life after breaking up with the Joker and kick some butt along the way. I don't
Usually I'd like to watch like snippets, like clips, featurettes, all of the trailers, but I dove in like pretty fresh because I don't know, Twitter has like this way of trying to implant an opinion in your head before you go see a movie, so it either brings you down or you think a crappy movie is great because you went in without expectations, you know. So I basically went in fresh and
Ah, shit, I told this all wrong. Quick history lesson.
The DCEU may have had a phenomenally spotty reputation, but I've personally always loved most of their movies. I mean, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and Batman v Superman are two of my all-time favorite mainstream movies. They successfully combine pop mayhem with mythology and political context, and they've just got such a unique visual style. I mean, both films, like, you know, the second one feels like a classic tragedy and the first one feels like its own mad, almost palpable movie. Every single one of their other solo films, from David Sandberg's gleeful Shazam to James Wan's unapologetically bombastic Aquaman and Patty Jenkins' epic Wonder Woman, boast their own singular trademarks. None of them look like each other, and I'm here for all of it. See, my skepticism with Birds of Prey comes from
That's it? What, we some kind of suicide squad?
Directed by David Ayer, 2016's Suicide Squad is one of two very mediocre films in the universe, or it's what I consider mediocre. The other is Justice League, and we do not talk about Justice League.
Bury it.
Now, I really wanted to preface what I'm going to say with this. If you loved either movie, more power to each and every one of you. I really wish I was able to feel the same joy y'all did, but unfortunately I was left with a bitter aftertaste and enough trust issues to bubble wrap my heart and balance my expectations before walking into the cinema.
that scene of Harley Quinn at the very beginning, I just resonated with it so much. You know, we're talking about like this really amazing woman. She's gorgeous, yet she's like in her couch all like cooped up, and I just felt like the character development in the movie was amazing to me. She didn't start off as like a badass girl. I mean, obviously we already know this, she's badass, but I found the movie very much relatable in terms of like real life situations, you know, going through a breakup, not knowing who your real friends are. And the thing is, like, all the characters in the movie, they're basically trying to make their way in the world the only way they know how.
I'm not sure if these trust issues influenced my viewing lens, but I found Birds of Prey to be an absolute fucking blast. As the credits rolled, I kind of, I remember thinking that this is like exactly what I wanted Suicide Squad to be. Bloody, breathless, and just not bothered with the idea of making its characters likable because they're not supposed to be. All of this adds up to make a ridiculously colorful cocktail filled with nihilism and chaos, just making sure you're stuck with a stupid grin once the movie's over, and I'm just grinning thinking about it even now. but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. What do you think about people talking about it from a very, they should have made this a little more sexy for me from a male perspective?
First of all, men are trash. Women are more than just sexy roles in films now. So it's a good time to be alive and to be a woman, really, because if you make a comment like that, you're going down, honey, so.
If you ask me the one thing about Suicide Squad that I unironically loved, it would have to be Margot Robbie's phenomenal turn as Harley Quinn. Sadly, and I have no clue if this is on air or the studios or both, she had zero agency in the movie, was sexualized to it was bad, and was used primarily as comic relief.
Harley Quinn, nice to meet ya. Love your perfume. What is that? The scent of death?
And I don't deny that she still kicked butt, but when a character who's in peak physical strength is stripped of her voice, both emotionally and otherwise, it's terrible, and I'm not sure how one would expect uncomfortable viewers to have reacted any differently to an abusive relationship that's romanticized and played for laughs. Ugh.
Yeah, men are trash.
It looks like the makers heard us out because Yan didn't just direct the hell out of the movie, she gave Quinn the compelling arc Ayer's film inadvertently robbed off her. Writer Christina Hodson gives us both the self-awareness of her terrible doings and a display of her sharp intelligence, and I love it so much.
Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah.
Of course, Quinn's Fantabulous Emancipation isn't the only significant part of the film. It also boasts a sharply paced, non-linear narrative that pays respects to the filmmaking trademarks of Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. Yan and Hodson additionally tend to have fun with the events, telling some of them through various vantage points a la Kurosawa's Rashomon. If there's one thing about the movie that continues to bother me a little, it's that Birds of Prey pivots its focus real hard on Harley Quinn at the cost of, well, the Birds of Prey. Everyone who's not Quinn is established in a detached, almost clinical fashion. Things happen and characters are struck into their respective journeys that culminate in a unified ending, and within the universe it makes sense, but it's tough to connect with any other character or remember moments without Harley in them. What it ends up being is a character study of Margot Robbie's character. And I mean, I get it. Robbie's fantastic. She's terrific. Her filmography proves it. The great thing, though, is, strangely, because it's told exclusively through Quinn's point of view more than anyone else's, it doesn't go all over the place, even if the timeline jumps faster than the speed of light. Or Sonic. Or the Flash. Or Quicksilver. I'll stop. Thankfully, the film doesn't rest solely on Robbie's shoulders. Chris Messina is so gleefully terrifying as Zaz. Every time he's a part of any scene, he leaves no stone unturned to brandish a very particular type of menacing, which is alarming, but he also rocks the blonde hair, which is awesome. He's such a great actor, and he's got such fantastic range, and I just, there were so many moments when I was thinking to myself, what if he were Black Mask? Would he be better? And this is strange because Ewan McGregor is already so bloody good. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Journey Smollett-Bell, Rosie Perez, and Ella J. Basco are also top-notch. Still, I'd have loved seeing more of them in the movie. I get why they went the way they did, but I'm just here making tall orders.
I remember I was in the cinema when I was in high school, and I would just always sit and wait for the end credits, and my dream was to basically have my name in the end credits. And I'm sure there are millions of girls out there as well who want to be screenwriters, who want to be producers or directors, and when it's been directed by a woman, it's just so empowering to me. It just inspires the younger generation to be something more than what society tells them to be.
The more I think back to Birds of Prey, the more I realize it's grown on me. Sure, it's as much about the actual birds of prey as Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is about metahumans by pure virtue of an email attachment. Sure, any character surrounding Harley Quinn isn't given a memorable or emotionally relevant arc. Sure, there are a lot of different ways the execution of some aspects of its storytelling could have gone for it to have been a much better movie, but I'd be lying to myself if I said I wasn't thoroughly entertained with it. And it's not just because it's a fun or funny action film, which it is, it very much is. There's so much to love about it, actually, and I could go on and on listing its themes of opportunism, agency, and mutual empowerment.
What?
You are so cool.
But what makes Birds of Prey stand out for me in particular is that it looks good and it feels like its own film. It's gorgeous and it's accentuated all the more with fantastic cinematography and a snappy visual rhythm that just doesn't let go. More than anything, however, this is a film directed and written by women, about badass women coming together to fight trash men. Why wouldn't I sign up?
For the men who are offended by these women who are like game changers in the industry, I feel like they're the ones who need to change, to be honest, because I don't see the competition. Isn't art supposed to like bring people together? It's not supposed to be like a competitive thing between genders. I just find it very funny.